Hi, everybody. Okay, I got to look over here. Andrew Champagne here today, host of Thursdays Live at 5:25. I had a couple voter reg events, so we have moved them, and I'm with my great friend and fellow Democratic National Convention delegate, Owen Doherty. Owen, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, everybody, glad to be on again.
All right.
Back again.
We were on last month. Now, so last month when we were on, we had just come back from the convention, so we were all buzzing about that. Now that part is over, so what we're going to talk about is from the convention on to November 5th. If you didn't see the show, and heavens forbid you didn't, the convention was exceptional. Chicago was a great host city. The DNC did a wonderful job. The Vermont delegation was very strong. We had a bunch of young people. I'd like to thank all the leadership of the VDP, Jim, Sheldon, David, Amanda, all the great people from Senator Welch, Congresswoman Ballant's office, Treasurer Mike Pichek. We had a blast. Chicago is a great union city. We stayed in an old historic hotel where they invented the brownie. So that was pretty cool. Before I go much further, I would like to thank all the people helping tonight. My executive producer, Miss Jordan Mitchell, the head of Town Meeting TV, Megan O'Rourke, Drew, my camera person, thank you so much, Kevin Hands, my line producer and buddy, and also in retirement but always inspiring, Miss Lauren Glendavidian, who is kind of the heart and soul of Town Meeting TV. You are not going to find better coverage of the election locally than on Town Meeting Television. We have won awards. We stress, we're doing all sorts of debates here, lieutenant governor's debate, all the undercard. So with that under the way, I need to do my traditional COVID wrap. COVID is not over, everyone. COVID is not over. People are still dying of COVID. People are still in the hospital from COVID. I just got my 6th shot at Community Health. It's free. I got my flu shot up there. So what we'd like to do is if you have any questions, we've been through a long period from 20 to 24 in COVID era, and there's damage from everyone. If you're having problems, income sensitivity, if you need to know where to get a shot, if you're having some substance abuse problems, if you're worried about rent, if you're having trouble heating your house, if you need someone to talk to, please call 211. Can we put that up, Kevin, please? Okay, I'm sure he'll put it up for us. But 211 is the state number, Owen, for if you have questions about COVID or social services. There is a myriad of social services out there for everyone. And please get that COVID shot. If we can leave that 2-1 up for a couple minutes, I'd appreciate it. Now, Owen.
Yes, Andrew.
My man.
Yeah.
Owen and I are justices of the peace, and we are running for re-election. Owen is running for the first time, and I'm running for the 8th time. 35 people run and only 15 win. So we're not doing politics on the show because we're too close to the election, but we would like to ask that you consider voting for both of us. Again, my name is Andrew Champagne, and Owen's name is Owen Doherty. It's on the back side of the ballot, and it's really wonderful I just did my 200 and something wedding this weekend at the St. John's Club, and I want to send my best wishes to Steve and Ashley and their daughter Aurora. We did an amazing wedding right outside at the beautiful St. John's Club. And also, justices of the peace register voters. They work at the polls. They can pick up ballots. They can marry people. So again, we're not doing any campaigning, but we'd like to ask for your vote. Andrew Champagne and Owen Doherty on the back side of the ballot. Now, let's talk about early voting. It started.
Talk about it.
Let me hear it.
Early voting has started. Everyone in Vermont this year received a ballot, so that's
Excellent.
super exciting. Thank you, Secretary of State's office, for that and all that hard work. It's not easy to get that done. So it's probably already sitting on your table if you're registered to vote, where you're registered to vote, of course, too. So yeah, you have that. It's in your hands, and you can usually turn them in at a city clerk's office or a city clerk's office, town hall. You can mail it via like any blue box or anything like that. So you can do that, and you can also go into a city clerk or go into a town clerk's office and vote in person there too via.
No, we're just we're
just
taking
like
some
in
pictures.
person.
So
you can do either of that, and early voting is the way to go. Get it done on your time. Get it done when it's convenient to you. So make sure you get out there and vote. I have my ballot. Haven't filled it out yet, but definitely going to vote early. Andrew, you've already voted.
I was one of the first voters.
100 people in the whole state to vote.
So everyone gets sent a ballot. So here's a problem. Let's talk about it, because Burlington is a renter's town. Burlington is a transitory town. People not just move out of Burlington, move within Burlington like you just did. You moved from the old north end to the south end, so we changed your registration. Now, it's no good if you lived on North Street, but now you live on Main Street. That ballot's going to come to your old address. So if you have moved, the best thing to do is go to City Hall, change your address. Now, you can vote early at City Hall. You can go to City Hall and vote today from 8 to 4:30. You can go to the polls on Tuesday, November 5th from 7 to 7 and vote. You can send in your ballot. Now, people say to me, Andrew, I think it got put in the recycling, or I made a mistake, or I tore it up, I got angry, or I wanted to, I found out something about someone, I want to vote for them. So, what you can do, your final arbiter of voting is going to the polls the traditional way on November 5th. But what we believe is all this work for 4 years, over 12 hours of voting, why not stretch it out? I believe we have 37 days of early voting, Owen.
Vermont is some of the longest early voting, and I made a mistake on my ballot once and was really concerned about it, and Andrew helped me out with it at the polling location the same day.
Right. Don't turn in a ballot that has a mistake on it, okay? We can get you a new ballot. For example, if you got a mail-in ballot and you got a mistake on it or you changed your mind, come to the polls and they will give you a new ballot. We're going to go over the 8 polling stations very quickly. Ward 1, Mater Christi School. That would be where a lot of UVM students vote. That would be up on campus on Colchester Avenue. Mater Christi School, right across from the Red Cross. Ward 2, there's been a change. It's usually IAA, the Integrated Arts Academy, our beloved art school on Archibald Street. They are doing some construction, and it has moved over to 20 Allen Street, the community center, right across from the cathedral. Okay, it will be back to IAA, but not till after town meeting. Ward 3, your old ward, Owen, is 120 North Street. That is the Sustainability Academy. Ward 4 is, okay, now we go up the avenue to St. Mark's Church. And that is, if you live on North Avenue, if you live on the left side of the avenue, you vote at St. Mark's. If you lived on the right side, which is Ward 7, you vote at the Senior Center at Goss Court, okay? And then we have Wards 5 and 6. Ward 5, a big ward, which is Edmonds Middle School, which would be a lot of the South End, followed by Ward 6, which is Burlington Electric. And then the last one, Ward 8, is at Fletcher Free Library. I'm going to do those really quickly one more time. Ward 1, Mater Christi School. Ward 2, Community Center, Allen Street. Ward 3, IAA, 120 North Street. Ward 4, St. Mark's Church on the Avenue. Ward 5, Edmonds School on Main Street. Ward 6, BED, 585 Pine Street. And Ward 7, Goss Court, the Senior Center, 35 Goss Court. And then Ward 8, our old friend Hannah King's ward, I can't forget that one, and I'm sure she's watching, hello Hannah, is at Fletcher Free Library, which is 230 College Street. Now you have those 8 wards. So, let's say you're watching this and you're interested in politics. You can vote tomorrow. God, you have 15 minutes. You can leave and vote right now, Owen.
Right now.
The turnout in the primary was not great. It was very poor. And now I have some disagreements with some people. I wish it was moved up to September. It had been moved back to August about 20 years ago when the very unfortunate Iraq and Iran wars were going on, and we had to send ballots to the troops, and it took a couple months to get to them. But August is a really tough time, especially in Burlington, because all the students are gone, people are on vacation. Their focus is really not on politics, except for the real hardcore political junkies like us. Oh, and early voting is key. Everyone is getting a ballot, but still the majority of people, I think, like to vote at the polling place, kind of the traditional way. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, vote whatever way you want. I've never voted in person the same day. Well, except for that one time I made a mistake.
Right.
Otherwise, I've always done it early. It's nice to do it on your own time. Although a lot of people, there's an experience there of like going to the poll, that ritual.
Seeing your neighbors, seeing your
neighbor,
friends.
People holding signs, that sort of thing. So I get it. It is, especially if you don't know who you want to vote for. It's nice to wait till the very end.
Right. Sometimes you might not know about something and you see a debate. Maybe you see a debate on Town Meeting television, or you read something, wow, this person is awesome, or oh God, they're this. So take that time. Now, another thing is fill in your ballot very carefully. It's a long, complicated ballot, okay? For example, just on the Justice of the Peace, you can vote for up to 15 people. Like you're taking the SATs, your marks heavy and dark. Okay, so let's talk about some national stuff. Why don't you lead with Trump and Kamala? Let's do it. Give me some.
What about him? Well,
the choice is clear.
The choice could not be more clear for the presidency. Kamala Harris is well qualified and well suited to be the president, while Donald Trump is going to take us back, not just back 4 years, but back to a time when people had less rights and less personal autonomy. So certainly a big election, no matter where you are, but take nothing for granted. If you're a supporter of either side, make sure you're getting out there and voting. Okay.
My friend, I don't think the choice has ever been clearer, okay? I mean, sure, we had some elections with like John McCain and Obama, or President Obama and Mitt Romney, but at least Senator McCain and Senator Romney are reasonable people. You go back to 96, Bob Dole, or George W. Bush, or George H.W. Bush. Look, these guys are much too conservative, and they got us in a couple terrible wars, but at least they were honorable people. I would shake their hand. This man is absolutely devoid of charm and intellect, and I think it would bring us so far back almost to a fascist state. And boy, do I hate to say that.
Yeah.
This President Trump is the gentleman who overturned Roe versus Wade, who overturned affirmative action. Now, his wife is out with a book, Melania, and she's an independent-minded person, and she said, hey, that's ridiculous. Abortion is a human right for a woman. Healthcare is a human right. This is a man who wants to cut Medicaid. Now, hey, I use Medicaid for unbelievable insurance. Or if you don't have any money or you're a student, there is insurance for everyone. And for example, look what's going down in Florida. They're talking about maybe a Category 6 hurricane, Owen. That's never happened before. And he's saying climate change will open more beachfront property on the coast. Obviously a little bit insane. I believe he's been sued over 700 times. How many times have you been sued, buddy?
0.
Me too. Less than 0. And so let's talk about the vice presidential debate. Look, I got to be honest. J.D. Vance is a smart guy. I read Hillbilly Elegy. It's an interesting book. But he wrapped his very hardcore conservatism into some kind of folksy, phony Midwest charm. There's little doubt in my mind he's only 40 years old that he will be a nominee one day for the presidency. He's ultra sharp. I don't know if he believes all the nonsense he talks about. His wife's family is from India. He has 3 children of immigrants that are Indian children. And, they're talking about immigrants in Ohio eating cats and dogs. And my God, it almost brings me to tears. Like, the rhetoric is at the lowest of low brow. And we saw that with the debate with Kamala. Break down the debate with Coach and JD, please.
The VP debate, definitely different than the presidential debate if you tuned into both. I think like you were saying, Senator Vance is slick. I think he's a good debater. He's somebody that it says anything to get elected, I think. But he sounds good when he does it, and he sounds really coherent compared to his running mate. And so Tim Walz did a good job. It was definitely a close. I think,
it was at least pleasant.
I've heard, it was actually really pleasant. There he is, and it was really pleasant.
Hey, we love him, Coach.
Very policy oriented, which was a little bit boring, but I guess that's a
boring
good thing.
Is good sometimes.
Yeah, I guess that's a good thing. So yeah, it was a big debate. Definitely check it out. They both did a good job, and I think Tim Walz won. He was great. JD Vance won't commit whether he'll certify the results of the election. If he's
believe
not the
that
winner.
2020 was stolen.
Yeah, believes that 2020 was stolen.
Right.
Reiterated the Springfield, Ohio cat thing. So he just all these things covered up in a nice suit. Which is why he's so slick and why you can't trust him.
Now, okay, my grandfather came from Ireland with $50 in his pocket in 1915. He knew one person. My grandparents came from Quebec. Pretty much, unless you're an indigenous person, we're all immigrants. Tell me your immigrant story. What Irish, I would take it?
Yeah.
When did they come over?
My grandfather came over in the 30s, I think.
When things were tough.
Yeah, 40s, maybe 50s.
Okay,
50s.
and what about on the other side?
Yeah, my grandfather, and then I have let me think. I have a great grandparents from Germany.
Okay,
that came over in the early 1900s, and then some family from Canada too,
right?
Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, Acadia area.
Searching for a better life. Now, I consider my grandfather fortunate. One, in order to get into the country, you needed to have nowadays, back then, you needed $11, okay? And I look at Ellis Island, and he had one friend, and he got him a job as a carpenter.
Nice.
But he could speak English. And the immigrants in America have added so much to our experience, in Burlington. We see that, it's the Somali immigrants, the Bosnian immigrants, the lots of immigrants from Africa, immigrants now from Central and South America. And you know what they're all coming for is a better life, a chance for their children, a chance for an education, a chance for an honest shake. And America really is the home of the free and brave, okay? Never forget that, please. And so when people are anti-immigration, it's really just xenophobia, which means afraid of someone that doesn't look like you. And it usually is white folks that don't understand that the world is a gorgeous mosaic, a rainbow, okay? And the world is changing, folks, okay, for the better. And we realize that the border needs to be, it cannot be a free-for-all, but we need people to come in because, for example, in Vermont, more people are dying in Vermont than are being born. There's school districts, there's still a couple one-room schoolhouses in Vermont. There's school districts, with 60 kids?
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
And we need the energy, the guts, the desire that people have for a better life. And immigrants have always been a bastion of the Democratic Party. Everyone is welcome in the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party is not for white, conservative, rich men only, okay? That is not the case. That we got these terrible appointments on the Supreme Court, and these people are unqualified, and look what we have now. The new president could have several new appointments. And so the choice is unbelievably clear. The felon against the prosecutor. Talk a little bit more about Kamala. You're a delegate.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Kamala. Some people might say I'm like K-Pilt. Or something like that. K-Hive. I remember the K-Hive.
Excellent.
Kamala is a proven leader, somebody that has been a first in a lot of her positions. There she is. She did incredible work as a DA, an assistant DA.
A very strict prosecutor, too.
Yeah. And but also, on cutting edge, some progressive reforms very early in the
Against
2000s.
the death penalty, which we agree with.
She was a great attorney general in California, one of the largest economies in the whole world.
Eighth largest economy in the world.
And with that comes some significant judicial stuff, and
then U.S. Senator,
and then a U.S. Senator as well, and now Vice President, where she has excelled. She's been a part of the Biden team, and she's cast more tie-breaking votes than any Vice President in history, and she did that on the Inflation Reduction Act, which is the largest climate investment the country has ever made, and
all the COVID stuff,
and building back
better,
better, and all sorts of great legislation like that is investing hundreds of thousands of millions of billions of trillions of dollars
literally
into climate, into jobs, into chips production, into green energy, into roads and bridges and ports and all
new
sorts
energy
of stuff.
jobs. Yes.
And so it's a big deal. She's been incredibly effective Vice President in a role that is not that effective, and I think she's got some really great visions for the country to move us forward. So she's going to be great. I've been phone banking every week for the Vice President. I've been to New Hampshire to knock on doors.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Keep doing that. And so everybody, if you are feeling excited about this election, it is going to be decided by a margin of effort. It will be a tight election no matter what, but it will be decided by who's working harder. So I encourage you, there's only less than a month away now. It was 4 weeks away on Tuesday, so less than a month away to get it done. So get out there, get first, vote. That's important. Talk to your family and friends. Super important. And then, of course, also volunteer. Go.kamalaharris.com.
Say that. Okay, please say that slowly again. Thank you.
Go.kamalaharris.com. Or you can Google Kamala Harris volunteer or something like that.
And let's be honest, Owen.
Yeah.
Elections live and die by money.
Mm-hmm.
I just sent her $30, okay? I'm not a rich guy, but it was important. Talk about, okay, you went over to New Hampshire, and you're a Massachusetts guy, so New Hampshire is right around the corner. Talk about
also near Vermont, New Hampshire.
Right.
Yes.
Talk about if you want to go to New Hampshire or Pennsylvania, like, who would you contact? The VDP?
Yeah, I would go to that website, and if there's a specific area you're looking for, like I was near Lebanon, so I went there, and
Hanover area?
Yeah, Hanover area, or if you're going somewhere else, do that and just put in like the zip code and see what's available. There's usually canvas launches every weekend or phone banks every evening if you're closer. So really, however you want to volunteer, you can really shape it for you. There's also phone banks every week in Burlington. On Tuesday nights at the Vermont Democrats office on Church Street. You could find all those signups at the same place, and you also phone bank virtually. There's a lot of people just doing it from home.
Okay, let's do a little brass tacks. Let's say someone's watching this show and says, "Hey, I'll make some calls." How do they reach the VDP? Well, okay, the telephone number of the Vermont Democratic Party is 802-229-1783, or you can give me a call, 802-540-0717. But for the computer world, how would you, hey man, I want to help. Who do I talk to? What do I do?
VermontDemocrats.org.
Say that slowly again.
I'm pretty sure it's VermontDemocrats.org, or just Google Vermont Democratic Party, and it will be there, and there'll be a volunteer button right there for you.
Yes. We have about 8 minutes left. Let's talk about the under ticket. Plenty of stuff's been talked about, Lieutenant Governor, Governor Scott. We feel he's a very mediocre governor. We see a lot of potential in him, but I see a lot of unfulfilled potential in him. He seems to campaign against Burlington. He hasn't been in Burlington. Hey, Kevin, we can take that down. Thank you. Love you. Can we do some pictures of Becca, of Peter, of Bernie, if you'd like, and I'd like to thank Kevin Harms, my friend. He does amazing work. Now, Governor Scott is very popular, nice guy supposedly, but my uncle's a nice guy. Vermont is facing some real problems, and he has not faced those. Education, addiction. Anybody who's watching this, we're in the Old North End. We're facing this fentanyl. We're facing these drugs that are just debilitating and that really, really tax your mind, body, and spirit. And you either end up jail, dead, or an institution. We need the state government to help us on that. We also need, if you see the infrastructure of Burlington, for example, Main Street's been worked on the whole summer. All the sewer pipes and everything, they're all about 100 years old, maybe even more. They used to be wooden sewer pipes. The electric, all of it. we still do not have 100% broadband. So, we are supporting Esther Charleston, who's a former city councilor from Middlebury. It's going to be uphill. She's made a lot of great speeches. I voted for her. I believe Owen's voted for her. And, you know, if every Democrat in Vermont voted for her, she'd win. So don't be fooled by the moderate Republican thing. It's a bit of a dodge. Let's talk, okay, and then Lieutenant Governor, we have John Rogers, former state senator, against the progressive Democrat David Zuckerman, who you guys all know. That's probably David's race to win. He had a very spirited primary against a friend of ours, a guy named Thomas Renner, who works in Becca Ballant's office. We'll say hi to Thomas. He's a great guy. And so why don't you break down, we have about 6 minutes. Why don't you break down the 4 races? We'll focus on the 3. You know, we have State Auditor Doug Hoffer. He's basically running unopposed, does a good job, kind of on his own. But let's talk about the big 3 on the low ticket.
Yeah, the Secretary of State's Sarah Copeland Hansis. I don't know who was on the Republican ticket for any of these races.
Pretty much nobody's.
So yeah, I guess nobody's. But Sarah's doing a great job. Like I said, got everyone a ballot this year and has done a great job with civics education, election monitoring, and I think she's off to a great start in her first 2-year term. So excited to re-elect her for 2 more. The Attorney General's office, led by Charity Clark, doing
Excellent.
a great job on a lot of fronts, leading the nation with other attorney generals, protecting children, protecting families, protecting Vermonters. She definitely deserves to be reelected.
Going after all the scammers.
Yeah, scammers, stuff like that.
Watch all that email and phone stuff. Don't fall for anybody calling you with some, hey, I got this check for you, you got to cash. You know, all that, just say, I'm just going to call the police and check you out, and you'll never hear from them again. You can also get on a do not call list. Okay, and then, hey, our favorite treasurer. Mike Piechek. Mike Piechek's campaign manager, our great buddy, Peter Tremblay, who was a delegate with us in Chicago. Mike is really a leading light, and I believe that in 2 years, if Phil doesn't run again, that Mike will run for governor, and I will be supporting him and endorsing him. He's a wonderful guy. The state finances are pretty good, and Mike is a true blue Democrat, born down in Brattleboro, just got married this summer. Yep. Congratulations to him. A lawyer, just a wonderful guy, lives in Winooski, a friend of the working man, and he's, you know, he and Charity and Sarah, they're really my 3 favorites on the undercard. Doug Hoffer, you know, the auditor has to do his own thing. The auditor doesn't have to make friends. The auditor has a tough job.
Hard to make friends.
Right, you don't want to make friends. He's looking for corruption. He's looking for malfeasance. We have 5 minutes. So, I guess we got to circle around to the election. Let's talk again, and I sound like a broken record. Everybody is going to be sent a ballot in the mail, okay? If you've moved, go down to City Hall, go to the City Hall website, or call City Hall in Burlington, 865-7000, and get a new ballot sent to you. Or vote early at City Hall. It takes about 2 minutes to fill out the form, or go to your polling places. We talked about the 8 polling places. The election is, I believe, 26, 27 days away. Now, I'm down to a couple minutes. We're going to change a couple topics here. I was just at Juntiques, and I'm a collector of presidential history, and I just show you this, Owen.
Wow.
I just bought this. I'd like to thank Jonathan and Finn at Juntiques. Isn't that great? Isn't that great? That's America.
What is it? Can you explain what it is?
It's all the presidents from George Washington to Lyndon Johnson. And I collect a lot of old presidential history. Pretty cool, Owen. And also, I'm trying to think here. Trump is so, there you go. Trump, this needs to be nipped in the bud because he would be too old to run again. And we need to send a message to J.D. Vance, you're too extreme. You know, J.D. Vance came across as a nice, kind guy. Believe me, these guys do not care about the working people of America, okay? They play everybody for suckers. I really think Kamala, for her work as a prosecutor, a DA, attorney general, senator, vice president, she knows the common folk. She grew up in a, she grew up many times. She was the only person of color in her school. She's been a trailblazer. And then with Governor Tim Walz and former Congressman Tim Walz, you got a guy who knows the corridors of Washington, knows the Midwest. I mean, I think we all know Coach Walz. He's just a decent, kind person. Has been elected twice as governor of Minnesota and 7 times as congressman. And my friends in Minnesota, they love him. He knows everybody. It's really a great dream ticket. It really is a great dream ticket. We're down to about 3 minutes. So, Kevin, I am doing a voter reg tonight at the Flynn for a very famous musician. His name is Graham Nash of Crosby, Stills, and Nash. And I was told maybe we had a picture. I'm not sure. Hey, there he is.
Wow.
Crosby, Stills, and Nash. Now, these guys, boy, 50 years, 50, 60 years of advocating for peace. Look, he's wearing the peace right on his jacket. And there he is. I asked if I could do a voting reg, and I was told he was very enthusiastic about that. That's tonight at the Flynn. That's Graham Nash, formerly of Crosby, Stills, and Nash. Mr. Crosby passed away of COVID, which could have gotten around, and Stephen Stills, and of course Neil Young. Teach Your Children, Woodstock, Military Madness, all that stuff. These guys really mean it. We are down to about 2 minutes, I'm guessing. I think we're 2 minutes. Why don't you close the show out, Lowen? I'm going to let you take it away, buddy.
I also think it's important to remind people that there is no, you can register the same day to vote. So there's no registration deadline. You can register up until the polls close on Election Day. So get out there, get voting. You can vote and register to vote up until the final minutes, and then you also don't need any ID or anything like that. You will need either the last 4 digits or your Vermont driver's license or the last 4 digits of your social, and of course a mailing address, but there's no verification. You don't need to bring like a piece of mail or anything like that, and then you swear the voters' oath. So thanks for joining us today. Myself and Andrew, so glad to be on, and we'll be on again, but make sure you get out there and vote, and make sure you're getting out there and voting for Democrats. Thanks so much.